So 22 years later, and having a theme park full of dinosaurs is still a very bad idea. Alright guys, Casual Movie Guy is back here. Today I am talking about the highly anticipated Jurassic World. So Jurassic World is a direct sequel to the first Jurassic Park film, which came out in 1993, and at the time of its release it was one of the biggest feats in cinema history. It revolutionized blending animatronics with CGI, and it's just an amazing film overall. If you haven't seen the first Jurassic Park, really do yourself a favor and just go watch it. It's one of my favorite of all time. I have a full-blown review on my channel of it. If that doesn't convince you, nothing will, because I just love that movie so much. Really, go watch it. But back to this movie. So Jurassic World, like I said, is a direct sequel to the first film. It ignores the events of the second and third film completely, and 22 years later we have a up and running Jurassic Park. The events of the first film, you kind of figured it would never happen, but in this film it does. You have an up and running, fully functional theme park with dinosaurs of all different sorts. You have Vegosaurs, Metasaurs, you have all the cool stuff that you always wanted to see in a theme park full of dinosaurs, and John Hammond's dream from the first film comes true. Now, straight off the bat, this film does have some really great moments, and I think is a good film overall, but it's not a great film. It does have its problems, and some of them are very apparent. It's not a perfect film by any stretch of the imagination, and I just want to touch on some of the poor things that it did first, and then I'll go into the positives. One of the things that I really disliked is that some of the characters in the film, specifically the military leader played by Vincent D'Onofrio, who I love as an actor, he just feels very fake. His character doesn't feel realistic. Some of the lines of dialogue he's given and how they're delivered, they don't blend well, and it just comes across as a character instead of an actual person that you could relate to. Another problem I had with this film was the children, and I usually hate kid actors, but in the first Jurassic Park film I liked the kid actors. I think they did a really good job of playing scared. They looked realistic and they felt realistic. They felt like people, like children, not like characters on a screen. And that was one of the biggest compliments I could give those kids in that film. They weren't great actors by any standards, but they did a good job of playing children who were supposed to be frightened by a T-Rex. In this film you have two kids who are brothers, and the older brother is kind of a dick. He's an asshole to his younger brother, and I understand that when you're a teenager girls are important, but when you're at a theme park full of dinosaurs, I feel like you're gonna be pretty impressed by that and not so worried about checking your goddamn Instagram or texting your girlfriend. I mean, come on. It's fucking dinosaurs in front of you. Like, I don't care how interesting your girlfriend is or how pretty she is. It's fucking dinosaurs. Another problem I had was, like, in the first film, like I said, the children were scared of the dinosaurs. In this film, they escaped the Indominus Rex for the first time, and they just shrug it off and laugh about it. Like, I don't know, even adults would be shitting yourself if you just narrowly escaped death from a fucking 20 feet tall fucking dinosaur. I mean, come on. At least act scared. But some other things are wrong with this film. Like I said, the dialogue is really bad. Some lines really cheesy. Just, even on the part of Chris Pratt, who I'll talk about later, he does a great job, but the dialogue is just bad. It was poorly written. Some of the scenes in this film, they just feel choppy, and a big part of that is because you have a lot of different subplots going on. You have the whole thing with the kids, you have all the stuff with Chris Pratt and the military guy, and there's just too much trying to go on. They tried to cram too much into one film, and it just was very apparent, and it kind of fogged up the film and made it feel very clunky, and the scenes, they just didn't flow very well because of that. But now let's talk about the positives. The film looks great. The park looks fantastic. It feels and looks like a realistic theme park. The dinosaurs look really good. A little too much reliance on CGI for my taste, but overall the dinosaurs look really good. When they kind of toned back the CGI for a lot of the scenes, and they went back to what the first film did, as in when they're close-ups of dinosaurs, it's animatronics and not CGI, but a lot of the not far close-up shots, the far-away shots, those were CGI, but they looked good. The CGI wasn't bad, just a little too much of it. The performances, besides the kids and Vincent D'Onofrio, Chris Pratt, the dude is a fantastic actor. You cannot dispute it. He's a great actor. The dude just impresses every time. Even on his show Parks and Rec and Guardians of the Galaxy, he was great, and in this film he doesn't disappoint. Dude does a fantastic job. Every time he was on screen, the movie instantly got better, and he's just a joy to watch all the time. Another surprise is Bryce Dallas Howard's character. She, from the trailers and what I had read about the film, didn't seem like she was going to be an interesting character, but throughout the film she has a lot of character development, and she grows as a character, and that really makes you care about her by the end of the film. A lot of people and critics are saying that this film doesn't have a good message like the first film did, but I disagree, because in the first film it was the fact that the dinosaurs, they're not monsters, they're animals, they do what they're supposed to do, and the fact that you shouldn't mess with nature. And this film kind of had a similar message, which is a little reminiscent of the first one, but they're not just numbers on a spreadsheet. They're animals. They're not just attractions for people to look at. They have feelings. They have emotions. They're a lot like people in that aspect. And I thought that was a good message. I think some critics and people are missing that, and they're just getting distracted by some of the poor dialogue. And one of my favorite parts of this movie is the end climactic fight scene. Oh my god, it is so awesome. I'm not going to spoil what it is or how it happens, but it is incredible. Tell Godzilla to fuck off, because this fight scene is amazing. It is so cool to watch. It may be slightly a little sci-fi-y and unrealistic, but I had a great time with it. Overall, if you go into this movie just expecting it to be a really fun and entertaining chase movie with dinosaurs, then you're going to have a great time. If you go into it expecting it to be as good as the first one, you're going to be disappointed, because you can't go into it expecting it to be the first one, because the first one is timeless. It still holds up today. It's an amazing film, one of the best in cinema history, and you just can't beat it. This film does good at what it wanted to do. And if it just would have cut out some of the subplots and had a little bit of writing, then this film would have been a lot better. Overall, I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 11. Like I said, really fun movie. It entertained me. It was fun as hell. Had a great time. Nothing too special. I wish it would have done a little bit more, but hey, it was what it was. I'm the Casual Movie Guy, and if you want to hear more from me, definitely hit that subscribe button. Make sure to like this video. Check out some of my other ones. I'm the Casual Movie Guy, and I'm out.